Hey, I'm Melissa Cookston, and I've noticed when I go to the grocery store that when I buy boneless, skinless chicken breasts, some of them are huge in the pack. You'll never be able to get that chicken breast cooked all the way through and not char the outside. So I'd like to show you how to trim that up, butterfly it, so you can get a nice even piece of chicken that's still moist and juicy on the inside. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do is show you. These came out of the same pack. This chicken breast is huge. This one's also huge, but not quite as big. I'm gonna start by taking off the extra fat on this side of the lobe here. There's also some connective tissue right in here that if you don't remove it is not nice and tender when you cook it. It will be chewy. So we're gonna remove that. Now, this is the side of the chicken breast that is closest to the breastbone. There's still a little bit of cartilage attached there, so I'm just gonna take my knife and run that down to remove that. You can even get a little piece of really tough cartilage or bone that's still attached to that, so make sure you get all that removed. Make sure I got all the fat off here. There will be just probably a little bit of buttery fat at the end, which will melt off, which you can see here. This little bit of buttery fat will melt. Anything that can pull with your fingers and it pops back will not melt. That's a good way to know the difference between that. So I'm gonna take my breast and hold it up where it was attached to that breastbone there. I'm gonna take my knife. This is the thickest part of the breast here. It's really thin down on this end and really thick up here. So I'm gonna take my knife and go about halfway through, being very careful to go between my fingers. And just lay that chicken breast out. Now you see that I still have a nice big hump over here. Anywhere you have a hump, you're gonna have an uneven cooking surface. Now you see that I have a nice flat breast that I can cook. So I have an even cooking surface. So that'll go on the grill and cook so much more evenly than the chicken breast that we started with. So I'm gonna do this one faster. Now, the important thing about cooking chicken is you need to season it just like any meat. Now, this is some of my favorite seasoning to use with chicken. It's just something that I make at home. You'll notice that I'm seasoning up high. The reason I do that is to make sure that I get an even distribution of the seasoning over the entire chicken breast. If you season down here, you're just gonna get big glumps of seasoning. Up here, you get a more even coating. And these are ready to go on the grill. Now, I have my grill set up in what we would call a 2-zone fire, meaning I have all my charcoal over to one side. A good tip is always keep a bowl of oil handy. You can keep the top on it You can keep the top on it when not in use, but what I do is I just dip a little paper towel down in the oil, and that way I can oil my grates so the meat doesn't stick to it. Then you can put the top back on it and it's ready for the next use. And I put my chicken on skin side down to start with. So while we were waiting on the chicken to get ready, I went ahead and sanitized my cutting board and my utensils. Very important, you don't want cross-contamination with raw chicken. So I'm gonna take my instant read thermometer, very important. You don't want to wait on the old-fashioned thermometers to give you a reading because you burn your hands. So get you an instant read thermometer. And we're at 165 degrees, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the smaller breast off. And this one's at about 161 degrees, so I'm gonna let it stay on another 2 to 3 minutes and we'll check it again. So I'm gonna let this one rest while I'm waiting on the big one. So this one is now ready. So I'm gonna let it rest. And we're gonna slice into the one that has already rested. The good thing about cooking chicken this way is you don't have a whole lot of char on the outside, but it's gonna be nice and moist, juicy on the inside. See all the juice? It's fantastic. It's a great way to cook chicken. It takes a few minutes longer, but it's worth it. I can't stand dry chicken. That's perfect chicken. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and tell me what else you want to see in the comments below.